A sudden blink, a steel edge failing to grip, and the crowd's favorite is suddenly eating ice instead of chasing glory. The Dutch qualifiers witness a Titan crumble as she hits the floor. This wasn't some early season tune-up, it was the high-stakes gamble for her entire Olympic ticket. Lenses zoom in, the arena gasps, and the digital world instantly crafts a narrative of total failure. In the Netherlands, the selection process is a merciless and cold-blooded meat grinder. Reputation counts for nothing here. You either cross that line first or vanish into the history books. That's usually where the credits roll. But this script took a sharp, quiet detour that nobody saw coming. Despite the headlines and the chaos, her name appeared on the roster for the 1,000 meters in 2026. No tearful press conferences or media tours, just a cold, hard administrative reality that she was still in. This is where the narrative shifts from a clumsy error to a calculated masterstroke. Most people miss the point entirely. That wipeout didn't rattle her soul one bit. It simply revealed a blueprint she'd already drafted. She isn't just another face on the national squad. She's the queen of the 1,000 meters, a tactical surgeon who lives for one specific, perfect rhythm. Watching her hit the deck, the world immediately screamed that her season was a disaster. But that logic only applies if you believe professional sports are ruled by raw emotion. True legends operate on cold precision. The fall wasn't the real shocker for those paying attention. The real jolt was how completely irrelevant that stumble turned out to be in the end. No desperate scrambling for extra heats. She just calmly prepared for the one race that truly defines her. This kind of composure is never a fluke or a stroke of luck. It's the result of an icon who understands the rulebook and her own worth better than the onlookers. Here is the harsh truth. Some Olympic journeys aren't about heart. They're about cold, hard strategy. It's about being intentionally dull and choosing only the specific wars that actually matter. She refused to let a single misstep erase 4 years of grind. The tumble was loud, the maneuver was silent. This is exactly why this specific moment carries so much weight for the sport. While the world saw a disaster, she saw a minor detour. Her goals remained fixed, her soul stayed intact. She skipped the pity party and doubled down on her signature event. The how simply doesn't matter. The mystery lies in why she looked so incredibly unbothered by the gravity of the mistake. To truly solve that puzzle, you must look at the immense weight she's been carrying long before her skate ever hit that ice. That slip didn't break her because she's been thriving under a crushing atmosphere for a very long time. Far before the spotlight of the next Winter Games, Dutch skating culture demanded nothing less than perfection. Being the best isn't celebrated. It's the baseline requirement every single time you lace up your skates. There's no room for excuses, only results. She didn't climb the ranks as some generalist. She staked her whole identity on the 1,000 meters and made it her personal kingdom. With multiple titles and massive leads, she didn't just win, she left the rest of the world behind. That level of supremacy is a double-edged sword that kills any possible margin for error. Eventually, the competition isn't against other skaters, it's against the crushing weight of public expectation. You're expected to win every time, and every tiny crack is treated like a total collapse. For her, that pressure extends far beyond the perimeter of the skating rink into her personal life. With a massive digital following and high-profile connections, she draws heat from people who don't know the sport. It ceases to be about simple split times and lap counts. It becomes a trial of her dedication and whether her lifestyle matches her immense talent. That static followed her into the season. The fall at trials looked like a gift to her critics. It seemed to validate every lazy rumor that's been whispered about her for several years. The danger wasn't the loss of points, it was the narrative trap, and that's where her brilliance shines. Instead of silencing the critics, she simply filtered whose opinion actually mattered. Rather than seeking public redemption, she sharpened her vision in the shadows. She didn't expand her goals out of fear, she tightened them with purpose. One race, one target. The 1,000 meter. That is the exact zone where she becomes lethal. The distance where her identity is absolute, where cold preparation silences raw emotion. For years, she skated under the crushing weight of a nation's hope. This season, the script flipped. That tumble didn't spark a panic. It sparked total clarity. Being under a microscope teaches a brutal truth. Trying to please the world is career suicide. And Jutta Leerdam has zero interest in handing over the steering wheel. While the public obsessed over the fall, she'd already moved on. She wasn't fixing a moment. She was shielding a master plan. That quiet, surgical focus is exactly what haunts her rivals. Once an athlete stops flinching and starts choosing, they become a nightmare to race against. Most people miss the fact that the decision was made before the fall even mattered. Olympic legacies aren't forged in moments of emotional desperation. They are won in silent rooms where athletes define their sacrifices. Jutta had already decided. Long before the trials, her team narrowed the entire mission down to one priority, the 1,000-meter. Not because she lacked range, but because her edge there is undeniable timing and power in perfect sync. That single pivot changes the entire complexion of the season. Most athletes scramble after a mistake. They add more races and more starts just to prove themselves. They bloat their plans out of terror. Jutta did the exact opposite. She walled off the incident. Instead of a downward spiral, she filed that slip away as mere data. No frantic chasing, no overcorrecting, no public campaign to justify her talent. That calculated move stunned the veterans. The selection rules do not require a spectacle. They require precision. The system rewards those who refuse to dilute their goal with panic. Jutta trusted that process. More importantly, she trusted her own steel. This wasn't a comeback, it was a boundary. She fenced off her career and ignored the noise. That's a masterclass move that most competitors only learn once it is too late. It reframes the tumble entirely. It wasn't the point of collapse, it was the moment nothing shifted. That is terrifying for her opponents because of the message it sends. She isn't skating with her heart anymore. She is skating with a scalpel. There is a profound peace in knowing you only need to master your specialty. Gold medals don't reward frantic energy, they reward restraint and timing, and holding back is hard. Especially with cameras watching and armchair experts dissecting every single mistake you make. Jutta didn't offer them a single word of explanation. She didn't have to. Silence was her answer, followed by results. The fall was their drama. She chose not to play along. That's when she stopped being a victim and took command. When a person stops reacting to the chaos everyone else is fixated on, it usually means they are looking at a point much further down the track. Something deliberate, something specific, something that needs zero explaining, only perfect execution. That makes the final act dangerous. In Italy, Jutta won't be hunting for a redemption story. She will be executing a verdict. Athletes in that headspace don't need momentum, they create it. But here is the specific detail that most people completely overlooked. Jutta Leerdam didn't just slip into the games through some backdoor loophole. She dominated a secondary distance to lock her spot for the race she actually wants. After that 1,000-meter slip, she crushed the 500-meter trials to join the Dutch squad. By clinching that spot, she locked down one of the 9 coveted positions allowed for the Dutch powerhouse squad. What followed defied the usual script. Sizing up the available slots, the national skating body made a rare call for a nation where Olympic berths are practically fought for in blood. Her name was slotted into the 1,000-meter dash as well, achieving this expansion without sacrificing a single teammate's dream. This was not a handout, it was a masterstroke, the signature move of an athlete who commands her own destiny with silent precision. She moved with purpose, tuning out the chaotic static to focus solely on the high stakes of the ice. The stage is set for her to dominate both the 500 and her iconic 1,000-meter events in Italy this coming February. When the world tunes in, they will find her name etched clearly upon the official lineup. Memories of her qualifying stumble might linger, but that spectacle is fleeting compared to the enduring truth left when the spotlight dims. Refusing to let a solitary slip define her narrative, she avoided the desperate urge to scramble for every possible race. Abandoning a defensive posture for pure brilliance, she surveyed the landscape, picked the route to glory, and marched forward with iron nerves. Such clarity is the antithesis of panic. It is the embodiment of a sharp, singular vision. Her journey stands apart because this winter is not a quest for atonement, but rather a pursuit of historical greatness. With eyes locked on the top podium, the skater is forging her path from a foundation of absolute power. Leaving terror behind? Ignoring the echoes of her crash and the venom of doubters, she relies on the cold, hard logic that her skill remains unmatched. In the brutal arena of high-stakes racing, that mental edge beats a lucky run every time, ensuring she enters Milan with zero to prove. Her presence is about total conquest, dictated by her own rules on the very ice she selected to cement her fame. Ultimately, that bold decision will likely overshadow the momentary stumble the world once witnessed.